Portimao. And Karim Chandok, of course, a Formula 1 driver.
Yeah, former Formula 1 anyway, yes. So it's still Wurz, Lotterer, Bernhardt, Christensen and Prost. Those are the first 5. Then Meyer, Chatin, Paul-Loup Chatin in the Alpine, which is another new car as well. And then Chantok, Brundle, Klien, and then Krahammer in the second Rebellion in 11th place. Badi in the Ligier, Fong. Audi weather forecast there, should stop in 10 minutes.
Lena Gay there explaining the situation, and it's interesting how they have these different points system as to how heavy the rain's going to be. And initially she was saying 0.5, and then at that jump when we heard Kyle Wilson-Clark engineering the one car, the one car to being 3. I don't know what it's out of, but I'd suggest 3's quite near the top, because that was an awful lot of rain that we saw. Not seeing any news on the 8 car, which we've just been sitting. Oh, it's down at the end of the pit lane now. So how much time have those guys spent in the pits? It's got to be 40-odd minutes. You can hear the rain on the roof of the car.
And they're just waiting for the... there's number 41 car coming back. Well, he's obviously using that as a sort of
wet water ski.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's doing a fantastic job of clearing some water for us, but equally he's probably putting a lot of carbon fibre down that can cause somebody else a bit of a headache.
Especially when he rubs it against the curbs.
Yes, not the best. But another gentleman here to really enjoy his race, and unfortunately he's been caught out in some way. We don't know who or what happened there, who caused it, but the 60 car coming in. That's another car that we've seen in trouble earlier in the week. So the KCMG guys don't understand this. They're parked at the end of the pit lane as well, so they've been back in. Now that must be for tyres. They must have decided that they were on the wrong tyres and had to come back in to swap. But I think as quick as we all switch to wets and inters, it's going to dry up again once these showers are past. Yeah.
So once again, the restart strategy is going to be so important, not to lose time.
So who's won from this?
Making an extra pit stop.
Alex Wurz. No, because of the way the gaps were, nobody's really won from it.
Well, he's got a bit more. He's got perhaps, well, at the moment it says 4 minutes and 20 seconds
I think that's because it's under safety car, running at the slower pace.
Is that him? Was that 7?
That is the 7 car.
He's on his own. He hasn't got a safety car at all.
Absolutely, and I think he will, when he catches the safety car croc, he'll be behind the same safety car that the number 8 Toyota is running with. Yeah, it's always interesting to see how that pans out. I think the next safety car will have the guys Lotterer and Bernard in, and if that is the case, then it's all things neutral in terms of how the safety cars have caught the guys and who's gained or lost from it. I don't think there's anything, but clearly Alex Wurz gaining from that first safety car. Okay, so a very sensible decision there for Eduardo Freitas and his team. Leave the safety car out until we've got to see something that's a bit drier.
So this is Alexander Wurz, free of having to follow anybody. He's on his own out there. I don't know how he managed that.
And interestingly, he'll be driving to a delta time on the dash.
Yeah.
And to catch the pack, but just didn't look to be going quick enough to be catching the pack, to be honest.
He's probably just taking it very, very easily and
well, everything to lose and nothing to gain, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some big puddles there on the apex. That's the apex of the second chicane, and the specially shaped brushes that are used by the men in orange to try and clear the water. The safety car is crawling as well.
It is very slow, isn't it? It really is. No, that's earlier on. That's...
I disagree with the comment about Sam Bird hitting the two LMP cars. I don't think that's the case at all from that replay, but we really need to see it on board from Nick Lapierre. Marsh with a nice souvenir. I'm taking this home. Will you sign it, please?
And here is the replay of the car rejoining. And underneath there is the Audi, hidden away. The Audi that wasn't able to restart. Olive Jarvis there. Deeply regretting the fact that he's been unable to...
Sam Bird in the other car.
Yeah, there's Sam in the Ferrari coming back as well.
Those cars on the public road down at Arnage.
Yeah, how do we have a cameraman down there?
I think there's always a cameraman on the roundabout at Arnage, but good on him. He took it off the tripod and had a walk and went and snapped what went on. But yeah, those guys being taken back the long way and very damp and pretty fed up. So in this next queue that's just gone past us, we do have Andre Lotterer
and Bernhardt, 12.8 seconds apart. So once that suggests that they're in the same queue, as you say. Coming into the pits is the 5th placed Rebellion of Nicolas Prost, and rather badly managed is the 10th placed number 13, its teammate of Dominic Krahammer.
Unfortunately, I think this has actually played into the hands of Alexander Wurz again. I think he's won again with this because actually he's now only a third of a lap behind Andre Lotterer and Timo Bernard, which is he's won again. The luck seems to be with that 7 car. And the 8 car back out and driving round now, but off the first page of the timing screens, we'll see how that one comes back up. And Bart Hayden and his crew will be chuffed to pieces with the 12 car up in 5th overall at this stage in the race.
Except they've just had both come into the pits at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
Which is never ideal.
No, but they do have 2 full crews down there, and they're not exactly rushed to get those cars turned round. Okay, so Lena Gade saying that they're going to take this opportunity to change driver. Full service means tyres and fuel.
Change driver means Benoit Trellier,
who's a very handy peddler, very safe pair of hands, but clearly making the decision that the quadruple stints that they were planning are not the right way to go, and get the job done, get it done on the safety car where you lose a lot less time. But that actually means that Alex Wurz is probably going to get a lap.
Yeah, if he hasn't already. Yeah. Now tell me, because this is a strange thing to do, I would have thought, is to send Benoit Trellier out on a track that's wet. Admittedly, he gets a chance just to sort of cruise around behind a safety car, but all of a sudden he's going to be racing. He is not used to these conditions, whereas anybody who's in the car at the moment is.
Absolutely. I think as a team manager, I'd be saying exactly that, but I guess these guys are very highly paid professionals, and ultimately, yeah, they should be capable of doing it. So the 2 car comes in.
And there it is, number 2 car, the Audi of Andre Lotterer coming into the pits.
So we've been told the 66 car needs to get a move on the screen. I think that's the car, that's the JMW Ferrari. I believe Seth Neiman at the wheel at the moment. And he's holding up that number 1 Audi. I think the number 1 Audi pulling alongside him, trying to give him a little bit of a hurry up.
I think you might be right. That's the one, yeah. So number 2 into the pits, a full service. It's going to take a little bit longer than your average shorter rather than your average full service.
So Grun Chandok bringing the car back.
Oh, there we go.
Right front wheel, broken track rod, and the Zytek with Michael Muneman at the wheel. That car back. Both of those cars, they'll get turned around and back out. It's not the last we'll see of them, that's for sure. They'll have complete corners built up, just like the factory team is ready to put on. But Roy Hingston and the team at Murphy Prototypes are having a rough time of it.
So Benoit Trellier there, all strapped into the car, born in Alençon, which is the next town north of Le Mans. And if you're going back towards the ferry at Le Havre, that's the way it goes. That's the next one, the next town you go through. So he's very much a local boy. but a very good peddler. Every now and then he pulls out a really good performance. And there it is, number 2. It's not quite ready to go yet. A little bit of tension to the right rear.
Interestingly, they are going to end up going a lap down here, I think, because they're going to get held at the end of the pit lane, and they're going to end up in the same queue.
What sort of call have they made?
We'll
have they made
see.
it? Will they be allowed to go?
No, they're going to be held. So the Crocodile's now going to come past, and I think that means that that car is now going to be... There's the 2 Toyotas in the same queue, and that, I believe, is coming out of Arnage.
Yeah.
So this is... If they get held... I would be surprised if they held them for that length of time at the end of the straight. I would tend to think that they're going to get released onto the back of the queue that you can see now, and actually that means that Andre Lotra won't have lost much at all, if anything, doing that stop.
Now, who's that? That's the Greaves Motorsport car, so that's back. That's the Chantok car with Natalio Berton.
So
and Rodolfo Gonzalez.
Very experienced team, Greaves. These guys know how do these Zytex go together. They've had them for a very long time, and they have an awful lot of spare parts for them. Jacob Greaves, Tim Greaves, of course, was the owner of Radical Sports Cars. And this team ran a Radical LMP car here for LMP2 car here for a little while before making the switch when Tim sold Radical over to the Zytex. These guys are supplier to many of the teams up and down the pit lane. Actually, you see Greaves 3D Engineering on the front of that car, and Jacob runs that business, supplying the likes of Audi and Porsche with all the equipment that you see used during the pit stop. They came up with a very innovative boom system, which is used to change the wheels extremely quickly and efficiently, and that's their bread and butter day-to-day work. As you see Michael Munneman climbing out the car.
So they basically run or make and devise pit equipment as well.
Absolutely, the Jack you see there, they will have done, and those, yeah, very clever group that they have there. The Porsche LMP1 guys, I think, very impressed with the equipment that those guys have produced. So, you know, if you a big compliment to the guys at Greaves that the people at that level are purchasing their equipment designed by a team that's involved. But ultimately, I think that's the best way. You've got to be involved to know what people really need, and that's why these guys are a very efficient team and will get that car turned around quite quickly. The 7 Toyota just plodding around very slowly. Still trying to see what's happened at the end of pit lane. It does look like Ben Trelier has been released now, so which queue has he ended up in?
Yeah, I think it was the one that, the second of those two. Almost certainly nothing in front of us at the moment.
Which means he is a third of a lap away from being lapped, I think.
There's the repeat of Charles Munneman coming back with his water ski. And Karen Chantok just ahead of him.
They even looked like they were trying to race it back.
And Marshall's, I think they'll be sending out for some more brooms quite soon, because that's they've really used an awful lot of them.
Absolutely.
But a lot of marshals around this track, not necessarily all French. There's marshals from all over the world actually come to Le Mans to enjoy themselves.
Marshall's trying to stay dry there,
yeah,
huddling under umbrellas against the concrete wall.
Well, it's blue where the black was behind us, so hopefully...
So they're looking at the damage there to the floor that's happened as that car's been dragged back with the right front corner sitting as it was, and I think potentially a lot more damage there than we suspected, and the damage probably done by the car being dragged back, you know, with that corner, as you see it now, right up in the air. So it probably needs a floor, that car.
Well, of course, that's always the problem, isn't it? They go off and don't do a lot of, I mean, even years and years ago, you know, flapping bodywork would do, or a flapping tyre would do a lot more damage than a flapping bodywork.
The leader in the 7 car, Alex Wirtz, now coming into the pits, doing covering off Ben Trelouet's attack there, and I think that's absolutely the right thing for those guys to do. It'll be interesting to see if they swap driver. Yeah, Alex Wirtz out, and who are we seeing going into that car? I think that's Kazuki. Let's have a look.
It says Sarrazin.
Sarrazin in.
Stéphane Sarrazin, who did 1 Grand Prix. He's also a French rally champion as well. He's a very talented driver, perhaps not very well known, but a very talented driver indeed, Stéphane Sarrazin.
Recently been testing the intermediate tyre there. No, that's the full wet, I think, actually going on. Stéphane Sarrazin actually testing the Toyota WRC Yaris, which is being developed at the moment, but that car not to be rallied next year. They're waiting for the new regulations, but felt they needed something to do, and I suspect it had a lot to do with Stéphane's desire to go rallying whilst on a contract at Toyota. So they're out testing that car regularly and getting themselves prepared for a return to the WRC when the regulations change in 2017. Safety car in this lap.
Did 1 Grand Prix, the Brazilian Grand Prix in 1999 with Minardi, French rally champion in 2004. So
a very, very handy driver, and of course he was a big part of that Porsche, sorry, not Porsche, the Peugeot.
Okay, Benoit Trelouet there. Just one little thing more about Stéphane Sarrazin. He's the outright qualifying record holder here in 3 minutes 18.5 in 2008 in the Peugeot.
In the Peugeot, yeah, absolutely. The turn the wick up days and get it gone. Yeah, when they stole all the headlines, but I think that was the year they had the spectacular failures. The same failure with all 3 cars.
So the safety car coming in, you can see it's still a lot of standing water about. We don't call it puddles, it's called standing water.
Yes, absolutely. Rivers of water as well, I think, probably down there, looking at the amount of water there was. So that's the 7 car now being held at the end of pit lane. This will be interesting because they're not going to be able to catch back up to the Crocodile when the safety car comes in. So I think they'll be released as soon as the safety car train that's going green passes them. So this safety car train you see here, this safety car is going to duck off into the pit lane.
This is a big one too, isn't it?
It is, which is unfortunate for them because it means, of course, they lose more time and they're straight out into traffic. So not the best. That's the same one that the 20 Porsche is in. The 20 Porsche lap down at the moment on Alex Wirtz, so they're going to be still nearly a full lap down. So Alexander Wirtz leads this race. It's not Alexander Wirtz, of course, at the wheel currently, but he has now got a full lap on the rest of the field due to these safety cars working in his favour. That's fantastic for those guys in the 7 car.
So here's this big queue of cars coming through. Safety car gets itself back in position for its next appearance, if indeed it will be required again. The queue of cars come into the pits as the green flag is waved, and Stéphane Sarrazin will rejoin in the lead.
And now that last car in that train, the 20 Porsche, has passed, that's it. So not quite a full lap's lead, but given a couple of seconds, and I have every reason to think that within a couple of minutes, that's going to be a full lap's lead for the... no, sorry, that's the 20 car now in the lead.
So in that queue is the 20 car, but Sarrazin's just pitted. That's how out of kilter they all are.
So that's the first time we see a Porsche lead this race.
Yeah. But will he have to come in? I can't remember how many laps he's done, of course.
Well, of course, that car was the car that came in slightly behind and out of sequence from the others when the first rainstorm hit. So he is slightly out of sequence, and we will be expecting to see him in, but he won't lose anything like the same amount of time. So, yeah, still definitely in the hunt there, and Ben Treluet now in the train that's coming past us in the 2 car, and so he's a third of a lap behind that, and it's all shaking itself out in the end, and equalised itself quite nicely after Alex Wirtz had a big advantage, gaining a third of a lap after that first safety car.
In the lead of LMP2 is Frank Meyer in the number 34 Orica, and he has nearly a lap lead over Sarthe in the Alpine number 36, who is just 8.6 seconds ahead of Christian Klien in the Morgan number 43, who in turn was in the same queue as Alex Brundle. So at the moment, Meyer has the advantage, but Sarthe, Klien and Brundle all together, and Bade as well in the Ligier 46.
So we see the 8 car coming past us now, out and running well. Obviously, the Toyota guys having done a fantastic job to get that car turned around with that new left front corner going on. They'll be hoping that car can now play a big part in backing up the 7 car. The 1 Audi coming past us as well, Tom Christensen at the wheel of that car. That car we'll be expecting to pit in the not too distant future. As on the screen you see the 991 with the 919 chasing behind it, the 2 Porsches, the factory cars, and the visibility very difficult there on the run down to Indianapolis, I think. Difficult to tell where that is actually on the circuit.
And it very often hangs in the trees there as well, so unless there's wind, and there doesn't seem to be, is there a little bit of wind out there? There is some, yeah. Just looking at the inflatable chips across the track, and there seems to be a little bit there, so that's not too bad.
So he now comes through Arnage. We've cut away from that as we see a replay here of the KCM G car. He has a spin. Does he keep it away from the wall? He's going to be a lucky boy.
He does.
Yes, he does.
In spite of the wet grass as well.
So that car, the car that's already had a new front nose on it, having not been involved in the... and we see the 67 Pro Speed. That's one of the IMSA cars, actually, isn't it? Having a trip into the gravel now. Has he managed to get himself free, or are we going to see one of these slow zones while that car's recovered? So the KCM G car in trouble again, having been one of the reasons that we had that first safety car spinning under braking for the first chicane and taking the tyres out. It's been in the car and had a new nose.
Was in 15th place overall, probably about 8th place, 9th place in class, Richard Bradley. And the 67 Porsche, I think, was quite some way down. In 29th place in the AM class with Eric Murray on board, and he was cause of damage in qualifying as well in practice. So
you have to say that Stefan Sarrazin is the man that you would want in that Toyota right now, with the conditions as they are, with all that experience as a rally driver. He is used to letting that car move around underneath him, but not... did we get the gap there? I think the caption's gone away from the screen. We can see the gap now, 7 seconds, as the Rebellion is just holding the 20 car up as they come through Tete Rouge out onto the Mulsanne Straight.
Yeah, rally drivers here. I remember Jean-Claude Androuet in a Ferrari 5, Berlinetta Boxer, in the middle of the night in fog, in rain, in mist, and he was absolutely the right guy to have, and he was setting laps faster than people in much higher powered and more sophisticated cars.
Used to the night, of course, as well. Yeah. Very used to the night.
We'll ask Peter Dunbrack about that in a moment.
Absolutely.
He's going to be taking over. He's waiting in the wings for his commentary.
Peter will be able to explain what's going on there, which certainly I can't do, with the fact that GTE 991 in this wet section of circuit here, has managed to stay with the 20 car, the 919 LMP1 car, right through this wet section. So very interesting to see how little time that it lost to the P1 car there. And we're just trying to get a split time now to see what the gap is. Stefan Sarrazin over a second faster in that first sector, so we're going to see Stefan catching Timo Bernard in the Porsche. Very rapid rate car 12 we now see off, so that's Nicolas Prost in the Rebellion. Marshall's point 42. Marshall's point 42 is the first chicane. As you hear harvesting there down as he turns into the Mulsanne corner.
It's Porsche, Toyota, Audi, the only car with 2 cars really in the running, having started with 3. Porsche with 2 cars, but one of them seriously delayed. Toyota the same thing.
You can see that gap on the screen now.
5.3 seconds between Bernard and Sarrazin last time around across the start-finishing line, but that's actually come down.
So I think we are expecting that Porsche in certainly within the next 3 laps. So they are now out of sequence with the Toyota having used that safety car as an opportunity to come in and get that stop out the way. And I think absolutely the right thing to have done. There was nothing to lose there to get that done and then get that driver change done as well, because we would have expected a double stint, I think, from the Toyotas. So double stint on the tyres and the driver, but that's not happened with the weather changing as it did. And I don't think the guys at Toyota were necessarily expecting that, because we heard them earlier talking about that and going to the slicks, a second set of slicks for that 3rd stint, and then leaving Alex Wurz in the car. But yeah, I think they've reacted remarkably well to it, considering it certainly didn't seem to be in their plan.
Yes, I think the weather's caught people. I heard an interview elsewhere that they were told it was going to be a dry 24 du Mans, and somewhat surprised that it hasn't been. Yeah,
I think this is it from what we're seeing of the weather forecast. It's going to be relatively fine from this point forward, but let's see how this one all pans out.
We'll hold you to that. Now, all of a sudden, that gap's gone up quite considerably.
Yeah, in that last sector. It could be traffic, the last sector being a particularly slow one, so let's see how it does work out. The 7 car does seem to be sitting behind that Rebellion, which about a lap ago we saw the Timo Bernard Porsche pass in this section of the circuit, not taking the same risks, I don't think, here.
So Timo Bernard and Stefan Sarrazin on Timo Bernhardt rather, and Stefan Sarrazin on 38 laps, then Benoit Trillier 37, and in fact Trillier is also on 38, so there's first 3 on the same, and then Tom Christensen a lap down, Nicolas Prost another lap down, Frank Meyer leading LMP2 a further lap down, but then he has his LMP2 rivals all queued up behind him, not very far away. And in fact, we've got the Alpine of Chatin, and then the Morgan of Klien and Alex Brundle all pretty close together. So there's lots going on there as we hand over to our co-commentators, Julian Porter and Peter Dumbreck.
Welcome back to the commentary booth for the 82nd running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and we are 3 hours in, 20 hours and 57 minutes left, Peter. We've been watching the whole race from the start. What a 3 hours. I mean, not only the great battles was, but then the weather and everything like that. Really difficult conditions.
Yeah, it's very difficult for the drivers to get their head around that, and the obvious thing is that we're so early in the race, you don't want to make mistakes. We've seen some big mistakes already, some cars out. For the guys still in the race, they've really got to keep a calm head, make sure they make it into the night. I mean, that's the first big step, to get into the night, get through this rain. We've seen the forecast is looking quite a bit better for the rest of the race. There could be one more shower coming, but other than that, it looks like it's going to be a dry race, which is a big relief for the drivers, let me tell you, during the night, because you don't want rain around here at night. It's already difficult in the day, but never mind the night time.
Well, that's it. I mean, when we've been looking at some of the in-car, as Bob was saying, you could hardly see anything when you were catching people, and so tricky. But it's really strange as well, because we know that the number 1 Audi's out on wets, and half the circuit is dry, so you're now starting to run into the damp conditions on offline to keep the tyres cooled down.
Well, I think the important thing is just to take safety into account in this early stage, and be safe with the car and not make any mistakes, because, as I said, you're so early in the race, you've got a long way to go. There's no point in taking big risks. We've seen in the past cars get quite a long way through the race. They're pushing hard, and all of a sudden a mistake happens at hour 20 or something like that, and they're out. So a lot of action on track just now, a lot of jostling for position, but people are being calm. There's one of the Porsches going by there now. That's a lead car passing the Aston.
The Toyota not so far behind. 6.312 is the gap. That's the curb cam there. So Sarrazin catching him.
We don't know quite the sequence of pit stops at the moment. We need to see how that plays out in the next few laps, see who's going to pit first, and then obviously there'll be different leaders coming in, because I think the number 2 Audi should be, well, at the moment it's 1 minute 3 behind, but I always thought that was a little bit closer than that.
Yeah, that's obviously with the safety car, we saw the number 2 Audi dropping half a minute because it got into another safety car line than the first car. So
well, this is quite a unique track, because there's 3 safety cars. You get a situation where on a normal track you want to pit. Under safety car you want to pit, you want to take on fuel, you want to take on tires and get into pits. But at this track you don't want to pit, because you automatically lose track position, and it sets you a long way back. So if you happen to be needing to pit at the time that the safety car comes out, then you really are stuffed, and you lose position by having to sit in the pits waiting until the next safety car comes round.
So as the Toyota just left the final chicane, it was overtaking a back marker, so there was nothing between it and, as we have a car off, is that 33? Yeah, Oak Racing. Fong off in the gravel somewhere. I'm trying to work out.
So yellow flags are out.
Yeah.
Is that car 33 or 83?
I'm not really sure, but Marshall Point 95B and 96 is where it is. What I was going to just say...
33, so it's Adderley Fong who's off. He was in quite, he's in quite a good, strong position. 5th, 6th in P2 class, so he's going to be dropped down the order some. And looking at the leaders, you can see the last lap of Timo Bernhard, 3:57, and the last lap of Sarrazin, 3:53. So obviously the Toyota with Sarrazin is a lot faster at the moment. It could be a difference in tyres, or it could be just the driver pushing on that bit harder. But obviously, yes, the Toyota will catch the Porsche if we carry on at this, if the pace continues like this.
I do remember a few years ago when Stefan Sarrazin ventured into the World Rally Championship with ProDrive. He was driving with ProDrive in sports cars and in World Championship, and David Richards saying what a talent he was. And in conditions like that, is that what you want? Someone who can adapt a little bit more?
Well, all the experience you've got, the more you've got, the better it is, essentially. The more cars that you drive, that you can bring to the table, the better. And if it's a bit of rallying on gravel or even on tarmac rallies, which I know Stefan was very good at, then yeah, it's something you can bring to the table. And he's an assured driver. He's been around the block. He's not in this team for no reason. He's a factory Toyota driver and a very fast one at that.
So that yellow flag is at Indianapolis, just to keep you up to date on that one. So 20 hours 51 minutes. First time Porsche have led Le Mans since 1988. So
yes, that's a fair while.
1998. Yes. 1998. So a nice little moment for them, as you say.
Porsche going heavily over the curbs there. Obviously, they feel that they can take a lot of curb through the Ford chicane, even in the slightly damp conditions. So that's, that just shows the car's a well-balanced car, the 911 RSR. We see the back straight now getting quite dry. So there is still, water offline. You see a bit of a tail end slide there from the Porsche coming off the corner, but it's gradually drying up. It still remains to be 20 odd degrees here, so it is going to dry very quickly.
Sarthe just 4/10 quicker in the first split, and then 8/10 quicker in the second split. 5.4 seconds between these two. As you say, they are slightly out of sync, but it's really the number 2 Audi which we've got to see when that comes in. Very aggressively driven, I thought, in the first couple of hours by Lotterer. Some big moves. There was a great fight before that accident between those 3 cars as well. Really.
Yeah, it's a shame we've kind of been robbed of 2 cars. One of them still in the race, but the other one out. You see the tail slide I was talking about. That looks like it's through Arnage.
As you say, that's heading towards us there, and it's the road is dry, slightly damp offline, but as he comes in, and I noticed this morning they were just bumping a little bit. They're a bit more cautious over those curbs.
We get a chance to see the lap times now. 3:49 for the leader, 3:52. So Sarrazan's actually lost a little bit of time in that last lap.
3.5 seconds in the last sector. Maybe traffic. There's nothing between them again now as they head out onto another lap.
That's the thing, it's such a long lap, and if you happen to catch traffic in the wrong position, and even you've got 2 GT cars potentially fighting it out and you can't get round them, it can cost you seconds, and it's seconds that these guys don't have, and that's what makes it such a tough race. So okay. 33, this is Adderley Fong getting back on the road, so he's dropped down quite a few positions now in P2.
He's down to 15th overall. Some cars coming into the pits. 46 going past us. There's the number 2 Audi. That's a long way back, isn't it? He's just going out of the chicane and crossing the line now. So safety car not doing him a lot of use.
Similar pace to the leading car, so it just shows you if he was that bit closer he could contend, but he's been dropped back, and through all the pit stops, through the rain, he's kind of lost out slightly.
As everyone keeps saying in and around the circuit, still a long way to go, but I was surprised at how quickly Alex Wurz and how big a lead he pulled out in those first 3 hours, because when they first started, the 2 Toyotas were quite close, and all of a sudden Wurz was away.
Yes,
really strong performance by him.
Yep, certainly. He's obviously got his head down and he's pushing away, and yeah, it just shows you the pace of the Toyota. We don't know the difference in the 2 Toyotas, whether one was on a different tire than the other one, or the setup was slightly different, but certainly Alex Wurz was really making the most of his situation and pulling a good lead. But it's all been for nothing at the moment, because we've got Timo Bernhard in the Porsche in the lead.
A door open on a rebellion, that's not really correct, is it?
Well, it's very hot. It's very hot out there, so...
I don't think that's meant to be. Right, here comes the 14 car through past our position. I think that Rebellion's now leaving the pits, having had that door shut. Now, a battle that was really interesting and intrigued you was the GT Pro category. I mean, there was a great fight with the Corvettes and the Ferrari, and not far behind was Darren Turner in the Aston Martin. 4 of them only a few seconds apart.
That's right. It was a fantastic start to the race for them as well, but again, in this situation, it's all changed, and now we've got Porsche 1, 2, Bergmeister and Holzer and I'm actually not sure how they've managed to get there.
Safety cars maybe and things like that. We've had a couple of them, haven't we? And they maybe worked well with the safety cars, where a couple of cars have suffered with that.
And yeah, exactly. And a special mention for Pedro Lamy, who is in a Pro-Am car, and he's up in 4th place overall in GT. So he's in front of the pole-sitting Ferrari to start the race, who now is driven by Tony Villander. So we've got a good old mix down there, and it just shows you in the past when Pro-Am and Pro cars were fighting. Normally the Pro cars are all ahead of the Pro-Ams, but with the regulations being what they are at the moment, you're able to use pretty much the newer car to drive in Pro-Am, and therefore you're able to have a competitive race against the Pro cars.
Is on its way on a bit of a push. He's got more traffic as the 7 Toyotas in hot pursuit. 6th place overall is our first P2 car, which I don't think they'd have expected to be up there, would they, as high as that? And they're just actually coming in now for a stop. Driver change.
Again, they've kept it all together during the rain and during the safety car. Maybe got it slightly lucky, and there they are. But I mean, that crew is a great crew. They're established together, racing together, and a great outfit. So I think they kind of deserve to be up there. And you know, we've seen a few crashes, and we saw the KCMG car, who was leading early on, have a moment in the rain, and their lead was wiped out, and they had to pit for damage. So they're now running back. That's car 47. So they're now running back in 7th position in P2. So yeah, I mean,
I think they actually went off twice, didn't they? Because I think they got going and then spun again when they came back out. So it's just a couple of little moments for those along the way, but. There's battles all over the place. So that lead change now, obviously for the P2s, because of the car in, there's a 34 in the pits, 36 now in the lead. Remember, obviously 41 and 48. 48 being Karun. We don't really know whether he was involved in someone else's accident or what, but it was a strange one, wasn't it?
It was again
against the barrier with someone else in the wet.
In a wet situation with slick tires on, and it looked. You know, we only really caught the end of it. We didn't see why it had happened, but one of the cars certainly had bigger damage than the other one, so obviously there was a contact with the wall.
So as Bob said, we've got 2 Audis left. We've got 2 Porsches and 2 Toyotas, but 1 Porsche 5 laps down after fuel pressure or fuel-related problems earlier on, and then the other Toyota having been off.
Well, interestingly, Timo Bernhard, if you look at the pit stops, he's only stopped twice. And you've got Sarrazin, 3 stops, Trelaway, 3 stops, Christensen, 4 stops, and Prost, 5 stops. So that'll be the reason why he's in the lead. He's made 1 less stop.
Okay, the number 1 car in.
So that's Christensen now coming in
from 4th place. It's a driver change. Green helmet. Going in, Degrassi now going to take over that car. Interesting to see if they decide to change tyres. The last we believe that they were on a wet tyre, so fuel's in, drivers in, drinks bottles in.
And you need that today. It's very warm out there.
Here's our leader. I'm just curious to see whether they go back to the... Yeah, right, what's going on there then? That looks like a slick,
yeah.
Probably is slicks, but you've got to be on the line, haven't you? You've got to be careful now.
Yeah, it will dry very quickly. As I said, it is very warm. It's just... Right, so there we go. We've got Timo Bernhard coming into the pits now for that'll be the 3rd stop for the car.
Driver change as well, so that's going to be, I suspect... Well, we haven't... Oh, someone's straight on somewhere. It's a Ferrari.
Doesn't look like any damage.
No. I'm just going to try to... There goes the 20 car past us, which obviously is our race leader. He's now in the pit lane. waiting for the Toyota to go past. Just going to interested to see which driver they drop into there. That's 95 and 96. That yellow flag again is around Indianapolis area. The yellow flag, that's where that Ferrari is off. Okay, here comes the Toyota. So Sarrazin through and into the lead, which we knew would happen.
So it's car 60 that's off in the gravel now. So it's one of the Pro-Am GT cars.
Okay, it's been strange the front wheels aren't turning on that car.
I think it's just deep in the gravel. I think it can't. There we go. He got it completely wrong through the first part of Indianapolis and just anchored up to try and get it stopped before the wall.
Okay, slicks going on the what was the lead Porsche car number 20 in the pits. Okay, and that's the Audi. That should be the Audi. When our screen refreshes, that Audi has passed the pit lane, so that should put the Audi into second place.
That's right.
Porsche back on track, so it's Toyota, Audi, Porsche, then Audi. Okay, all on 3 stops, apart from car number 1, which has had an additional stop in the pits. Just thought I heard some cheering in the background. Then I wasn't sure really what for, but we got car 36 in the pits having a stop. Let's wonder who's going to get into that car. Okay, right, car 35 online. There's a switch of position in that category as well because of 36 in the pits. Okay, so yeah. So Sarrazin in the Toyota. He's done a 35.9 to Trillier's 38.4, so much quicker in the first split, or the first sector of this lap. And it's Brendan Hartley into the number 20 car.
Again, another young driver coming up through the ranks, been given the opportunity with Porsche this year to be a factory driver.
I saw a tweet from him at the start of the week, something along the lines of, the greatest week of my life starts here. It's kind of like what it's all about for these young kids.
It's a big thing for a driver. Mark Lieb going in now to car 20. Sorry.
14, you mean to 14?
Sorry, yeah, 14.
Yeah, the one that's obviously dropped was 4 or 5 laps down as the number 1 Audi completes its first lap for Lucas Di Grassi once he's done that stop. So fuel's in, drivers in, tyres getting changed, everyone going on to slicks, which is the common thing. We thought there was going to be a little bit more rain around this time, but I think fortunately for the drivers, and it's not going to happen. You're going to have a look out.
I'm going to have a glance out the window and see. It's looking blue over there, so
yeah,
I think
we've
could
cleared
be okay.
that. Yeah, I think we've cleared that one. I mean, when we look out the front window, it looks fine. There's the 98 car into the pits, heavy on the brakes just for the speed limiter line, 60 kilometers an hour in the speed limit. 14 is out, and there's our race leader completing another lap. Car number 7 going past us and on his way. He's done 44 laps. 3 hours, 21 minutes. You've got to remember, 2 safety cars. The first one was quite a long safety car for the accident between car 3 and car 8, which was, and the car of Sam Bird's Ferrari. There was all sorts of cars caught up in that bump, which took a long time to clear up. So we look down it. So it is Sarrazin, Trillier, Hartley, Di Grassi, and then Prost is our top 5. And then they've got a gaggle of P2s altogether. Now, what kind of gaps are they between them? There's actually 2.3 seconds between the first 2 in the P2 category, Frey and Brundle. That's a close back. We need to kind of get a picture on that, don't we, to see what's going on there. Car 34 and 35, as we watch for them somewhere in and around.
Got 98 Aston in now. They were leading the Pro-Am class, and now Patrick Long takes over Again, a nice fight between 3 different manufacturers up in the head of Pro-Am. In fact, actually, Pat Long has taken over the lead overall in GT. So he's now ahead of the Pro cars, but he will no doubt need to stop pretty soon because we've had the 2 Porsches, the factory Porsches Pro cars coming into the pits.
So that's a 77 car at the moment leading that category. So, as you say, at the start of the race, it was Ferrari, Corvette, Aston Martin. Now it's all Porsches now at the moment, all up there. So, big fight in amongst them as we...
The one thing I've seen from the Porsche is that in the difficult conditions, when it's a bit wet and or even very wet, and it just seems like an easy-to-drive car, and maybe slightly easier than some of the other ones, and therefore you can keep it on the track, keep up a bit of speed, and not lose out and not risk the car so much.
I'm still trying to keep an eye out to get a visual on the gap of 34 and 35, because that is only a couple of seconds. The car. A slight risk of rain or a shower in 9 minutes.
So
that's quite accurate, 9 minutes.
Yeah. So our initial kind of prediction of rain, they think is going to come. So they're going to not risk too much and possibly go to inters.
That was a number 8 Toyota. I suppose the number 8 car doesn't have anything to lose. It dropped an hour, basically 9 laps. From when it first crashed to when it got back onto the track being repaired was an hour, so 9 laps down. So yeah, if they have to make an additional stop pure and simply because of car 50 reported to the stewards for speeding in the pit lane. It's just flashed up on our screen. So I'm not really sure. The Ricky Taylor car, I'm not sure who was driving it at the time. So
they're quite down the order anyway.
Yeah. Right, I'm just looking at these gaps here on the LMP2 cars. Brundle is quicker on the splits, on the sectors there. So I don't seem to be able to manage to see them out of the window. On the main screen, obviously concentrating on the Toyota at the front. So I'm trying to actually get a visual on that as they come past as well. So Toyota here getting this to be the car 8. We just heard the radio conversation. And here's car 35. This is Brundle here, and that's obviously the one he's fighting in front.
Yeah, I mean, on that last lap, he was 4 seconds faster, so we can't expect that he's going to close up on it.
Yeah. Beautiful sound from the cars. The car 2 Audi just coming in, Trillier coming into the pits. That's interesting. That's a fall stop. So I'm going to put him out. These 2 cars can't get, these 2 P2 cars can't get past the GT cars in front of them at the moment. That could help. Here's the car 8.
Big lock-up coming into the pits, really pushing the limits on the way in there. Is that some kind of liquid coming off the roof, perhaps, or is that rain?
Where?
Just dropping down.
Oh, I think that could be coming off the roof. Yeah, I think that could be coming off. Right, they're heading towards us now. This GT2 battle's heading towards us. Here they are.
LMP2 battle.
LMP2, sorry.
This is the Judd versus Nissan power plant. So we might get a chance to see when they get through to the main straight whether which is a stronger engine.
In car with Alex as he climbs up. I didn't realise quite how steep that was as we walked up it yesterday. You know, it is a real elevation as you climb up there.
Exactly. I mean, you don't from this angle. That's a little bit more realistic. You can see how steep it is coming back down again. There, it's very fast down that hill. So we got the leaders 1 and 2 in LMP2.
That's it. So you got 2 cars here, same category, P2 cars. 1 closed cockpit, 1 not closed cockpit. What would you prefer to be? What's your preference? And Brundle's going to do him here. He's got it on the inside. And he's cleverly boxed in.
He has. He's a wise. That's a wise move.
That is a wise move. Yeah.
I mean, he got the run on him anyway. I think he was slightly held up by the Aston there, but he might well come back. He's in the slipstream now. These cars make a big hole in the air, and the power plant obviously is not quite as strong as an LMP1 car. But I think in general, Brundle is slightly quicker, and he has caught Fry up anyway, yeah. So I think he's going to have a chance just to pull away now.
Yeah, what is it? Do you think there's advantages? Why do some cars in that category have open car and some a closed cockpit?
Well, gradually everyone will move over to closed cockpit because I believe that's the regulation that's on its way in. And so some manufacturers are ready for it, and some are gradually getting ready. Oh, Brundle's run wide, so he's given the place back.
All that hard work he's got to do again.
Yeah, the Ligier is a brand new car.
Yeah, first time the Ligier name here for a few years. I can't remember where I read and what I read. The 7-car Sarrazin into the pits now. So that's for his 4th stop. Now, depending on how quickly Hartley can get around and what kind of stop they're going to do on that Toyota, we could have the Porsche back in the lead.
Well, again, if we look at lap times, we've got Hartley doing a 3:38, and then we've got the Audi and Sarrazin doing 3:52, 3:50.
And that was there. Yeah. So.
But it could be that that's just their time going into the pit.
Maybe, yeah.
Having to slow down.
He's going well, though, isn't he, Brendan, in that car? Here he goes. He's heading towards the end of the lap now. Okay, that looks like fresh tyres. I don't know whether they... I don't think there was a driver change.
Yeah.
And that was...
They look to be Inters coming off that car.
Okay, well, we've got the Porsche is going to go past. Hartley is going to take the lead, because Sarrazin, I don't believe, was quite out of that pit road. He's not out the pit road, so... Slightly false, but because of the strategy difference and the pit stop changing, but Porsche back out. Well, yeah, because Trullier has been into the pits just before Sarrazin went in. So Hartley now leading. Sarrazin is 2nd and Trullier 3rd. Degrassi in car 1 is 4th, with Nicholas Prost in 5th. Remember that battle for P2 is Frey and Brundle got past and then made a slight mistake in outbraking himself and let the car back pass.
Back on his tail again now.
Yeah.
Right in front of us. Right on his tail. So great battle in LMP2. I think now we'll get to see Sarrazin on slick tyres, and next time round we'll get to see what sort of lap time he's able to put in with those slick tyres. At the moment it looks like it's going to stay dry, but you never know. When it's hot like this, the clouds